programs they run today. So we are gathered here today to hear about the programs that will benefit our young people in either music, in theater, in literature, in different fields of arts and culture. So we thank you for joining us today. Now, what is the Acomi We Belong project? It has one simple goal, which is to make arts and culture sector in Manitoba fair and inclusive for everyone. So if you're talented, it doesn't matter where you come from. Let your talent alone be what speaks for you. We also want to break down the barriers of accessing institutions by making sure that institutions are very accessible. And one of the programs is what we are having tonight. Now, what are the objectives? One is to create fairness so that whoever you are, whatever you are, you have the same access to facilities, to programs, to grants, and things that will support you to nurture your talents. And one of the ways we want to do that is to work with arts organizations to make sure that their programs and policies include everyone. We also want to empower young people with skills, with mentors, and with confidence to pursue their art. And that's one of the reasons why in this gathered here today are distinguished individuals from the art centers who will act as mentors. So this is an opportunity for you to interact and link up with people who will empower you. We also have people who have skills that they can impact on young people. And this is one of the things we want to achieve. And the third one is essentially what we are doing here today. We build community, we gather community together to work for the common good. And of course, we want to celebrate diversity. My executive director mentioned about Fukurama, African Pavilion every year. We want as many talented people from different areas of the continent to perform. This year we had 10 groups performing, and I'm sure that next year we are going to have more groups and more young people showcase their talents at the highest level at events like Fukurama. So what are the things we are doing? We've already started. Last month we had Partners Engagement Forum. Today, one of the things we want to do is policy workshop. So this is one of them. We intend to hold one again early next year. Of course, mentorship program is part of it. We want to directly link aspiring artists to mentors, especially mentors from the community, so that they can see themselves and be inspired. Of course, we also want to do skills building. So if you're interested in drumming, art, in painting, in filmmaking, we have partners here who will provide the skills. So there's a lot we are providing for young people. And of course, I've mentioned Fukurama, and also being able to perform and showcase your art at events like this. And we are glad this evening that we have a young artist who will be showcasing his artwork over there, and you can have a look. So these are the kind of programs we are planning for everyone. So how does it benefit you? For young people, you can learn dancing, filmmaking, photography, art, painting, and all this will be provided under the platform of this program. And of course, meeting mentors is important, and I want to encourage, especially the young people, don't leave here this evening without meeting at least 5 people. This is what is called the 5-finger rule of networking. What does it mean? Look for someone who will encourage you. There's someone, a friend or someone who will encourage you. Look for someone who will lift you up, help you develop your skill. Look for someone who will take you to the highest level. Look for another person, a peer that you can work together. And finally, look for somebody you can help, because every leader is a follower, and every follower is a leader. You have a skill, you can teach someone. So at every event you go, don't sit and just listen. We are gathering together here in this hall. The talent and the skills we have here is amazing. The individuals sitting here tonight are individuals that if you connect with them, so connect. If you connect with the individuals who are here, they will open doors for you. The other thing is that as young people, sometimes we are afraid to walk up to somebody. But being in one occasion has opened the door. Walk to any of the individuals here today and say, I met you at this Acomi We Belong event. And I'm sure they will open their door and welcome you. So mentorship is part of what we are doing. Another thing is showcasing your talent at the highest level. We want our young talents to showcase their skills painting at the highest level. We don't want our talented people to be showcasing their talent at the back. No, they belong to the highest stage. That's one of the reasons we are deliberate about where we are organizing this program. Today's event is at Manitoba Museum. We have another event at Winnipeg Art Gallery. We are hoping next year to also have another event at the Canadian Museum. We belong to those places, and we are going to take our young talented people to those places. And of course, talent is not for talent's sake. It's to promote friendship, community. So if you have a talent, it's not just for yourself. So take the opportunity of tonight and this program to make new friends and to build a stronger community that is fair for everyone. So like I mentioned, we had a program on the 9th of October. Tonight we have another program here. And the next event is on December 5th for young people. So any young person who is here, please make sure you get to our volunteers and of course sign up for this event. It's strictly for young people and it's going to take place at the Winnipeg Art Gallery. And we are glad that the Winnipeg Art Gallery is making their location available for us for this event. So what next? After this meeting, all of you who attended here will receive an invite to indicate how you want to be part of this program. You want to be a mentor, you want to be a participant, you have a community group that you want to organize it. Any way you want to participate, just let us know so we have an inclusive program for everyone. Finally, tonight is for us to gather as a family, like I said, and we have in our midst today groups who agreed to be with us, to share with us their programs. And we are so delighted that we have two big organizations here, the Manitoba Arts Council and Creative Manitoba. If you're in the arts field here in Manitoba and you don't know these two organizations, maybe tonight you need to know them. And we are glad that they are here today. If you don't know Creative Manitoba and you're in the creative industry, then today is the opportunity for you to do so. Finally, it's not about organizations, it's about recognizing our own. We have talented young people, talented creative people from our community. And we have one of them here whose resume is taller and bigger than her size. And she'll be an inspiration to all of us. So we are talking about young people, but we are also talking about intergenerational skills and talent. And like I mentioned, we have our band here, the Winnipeg Steel Orchestra. And the two players you're seeing here, they are still very young. Some of them, Ruben, actually started, I'm sure he will tell us, over 50 years ago. And they are still strong and they are still playing. And so that shows you the intergenerational talent we have in our community. So once again, I thank you for, I'm always available for those who want to reach out and get more information. But tonight is not about me, it's not about Acomi alone, it's about the community. And I'm glad that you could join us. So thank you for joining us this evening. It is my honor, therefore, to invite to the podium someone who, when I read her short bio, two things struck me. She has love for arts and she has love for granting. And me, I love to hear the word granting. Because without grants and without funds, nothing can be done. And without the support of the Canadian government, we couldn't have organized this. So the importance of granting. But who else to speak to us today than the director of Granting Manitoba Arts Council, Audrey Doyle. It's my honor to invite you to the podium.
All right, good evening. Thank you for that introduction. My name is Audrey Dwyer, and I am the Director of Granting at the Manitoba Arts Council. And yes, I love the arts, and yes, I love granting. So for today's presentation, I'm going to be covering who we are as a council and our values. I'll also be discussing part of our strategic priorities, accessibility at the Manitoba Arts Council and what we do. And I'm also going to share an overview of our grants. The Manitoba Arts Council is Manitoba's public arts funder and an arm's-length agency of the province of Manitoba. We were established in 1965 to promote the study, enjoyment, production, and performance of works in the arts. So we make awards to professional arts organizations and individuals in all art forms, including theater, literature, dance, music, painting, sculpture, architecture, or the graphic arts, and also arts education. We provide funding and services to artists, arts and cultural professionals, Indigenous knowledge keepers, and arts and cultural organizations for the benefit of the citizens of Manitoba. And we make our funding decisions by peer assessment. And I want to make that clear because I know that I just said I love granting, but I am not the one who gives out the money. We bring on peers to assess the applications that you'll write. Our vision is a Manitoba where arts and culture are at the heart of community life. And our purpose is that we fund the creation and sharing of arts and culture for the benefit of all Manitobans. As for MAC's values, we value equity. We strive for funding programs and policies that are equitable for all, and we recognize that some groups face barriers and that achieving equity for these groups may require targeted measures. We value collaboration, and we seek to develop partnerships to make efficient use of our resources, achieve common goals, and maximize our impact. We value a collaborative approach in the work of MAC funding recipients. We value diversity, and we embrace the differences of all Manitobans and seek to have this diversity represented in the work that we support. We also value accountability, and we actively listen to stakeholders, and we make decisions on behalf of the citizens of Manitoba. We also value the ideas in our work and in the work that we fund. So in 2021, the Manitoba Arts Council released Arts and Culture for All Manitobans, our strategic priorities for 2021 to 2023. This document included the vision, purpose, and values diversity and equity, arts in our communities, and environmental sustainability. So this provided the framework for MAC to begin shifting towards a more equitable model of funding arts and culture in Manitoba. In order to provide support and stability for this important work that was in progress, MAC renewed and refined these strategic priorities for 2024 to 2026. And we recognize that community can be based on culture, geography, ability, identity, and more. We established priority groups. Priority groups at Manitoba Arts Council include Indigenous people, Black people and people of color, people who are deaf or living with a disability, Francophones, people who live outside of the capital region, and people who are 2S LGBTQ+. Priority groups may have dedicated programs. They might be allocated additional weighting in the assessment of grant applications and may inform updates to MAC's policies and procedures. Now, we recognize that this list does not include every group that has been marginalized or has faced a barrier to accessing arts and culture funding. We also recognize that people may belong to 2 or more priority groups. So here are some statistics from our 2024-2025 year at a glance. 366 grants were given to individuals for a total of $1.9 million. Of the 366 individuals awarded, 31% were Black or people of color and 23 were Indigenous. Of the 366 individuals awarded, 20% were deaf or living with a disability, 22% were 2S LGBTQ+, and 9% were Francophone. We are committed to the principles of equal access and participation for all people. So to identify barriers to access, the Manitoba Arts Council held consultations with artists with disabilities in 2017 and 2022. And with the guidance and advice of that community, we work to address visible and invisible barriers and meet all the requirements of the Accessibility for Manitobans Act. We strive to provide services and be respectful of dignity and independence. We strive to grant equal opportunities to all and to communicate accessibility. We also have an accessibility financial assistance program, which was created to help remove financial barriers for applicants who are deaf or living with a disability. Applications for this program can be written in English or French. So if you are deaf or living with a disability, or you represent a deaf and disability arts cultural group or organization, you can apply for financial assistance to help cover the costs of disability-related services. So for example, you can apply for funding to create a profile in Manipogo, which is our online application system. You can apply for financial assistance to write a grant application or to submit a final report. You can also apply for financial assistance to help cover costs of disability-related services and supports necessary to complete your project. As I mentioned before, we fund the creation and sharing of arts and culture for the benefit of all Manitobans. And we have 6 granting streams of activity that you'll see here. So Create supports the process of creation. Share supports the sharing of artistic work. Learn supports learning and artistic development activities. Indigenous 360 supports artistic and cultural activities by Indigenous applicants. Support, Operate invests in the long-term sustainability of Manitoba's arts and cultural sector, and Recognize celebrates artistic achievement and recognizes potential excellence. So as I mentioned, the granting process has many steps. There's an eligibility process, an application process, and an assessment process. And so to be eligible for Manitoba Arts Council grants, there are many different ways in. You can be a professional artist, you can be an arts cultural professional, you can be a student of the arts, you can be in a professional arts group, you can be a professional for not-for-profit arts organization or a professional arts service organization or a community not-for-profit organization. I'm going to introduce you further to the grants that we provide and remind you that the grants for these programs can be written in English or French. So create grants value original artistic expression by supporting professional artists and arts groups in the creation and development of artistic work, including creation-based residencies. Artists and community grants support arts-related activities for underserved applicants and/or communities that face barriers to accessing artistic opportunities. The Present program supports the presentation of work in Manitoba in all disciplines by professional artists, arts groups, and arts organizations. The Tour grant supports touring activities in Manitoba with the aim of sharing arts and culture for the benefit of all Manitobans. The Residencies program supports creation or research-based residency opportunities in Riding Mountain National Parks for individuals in all disciplines. So let's say you want to work on a project for 2 weeks and you want some quiet time, you want time to yourself, or you have a partner that you want to work with and just have that one-on-one time. You can apply for this grant and spend 2 weeks in Riding Mountain National Park in a cabin. I'll let you imagine what that might be to experience. But you can spend the gift of time and really work and really get quiet and spend time doing research or creating. Scholarships. So the scholarships program supports training and study for full-time Manitoban students in all artistic disciplines at certified educational institutions. And for those folks that are going to universities, this will be one, if you are a student of the arts, that you're going to want to pay close attention to. The Travel Professional Development Program supports professional artists and arts cultural professionals in all disciplines for activities related to the development of their practice or careers. So let's say you want to do a workshop, or you want to offer a workshop, this is the grant for you. Let's say you want specialized training, maybe you want to do a public reading or a public presentation, this is the grant that you want to apply for. Indigenous 360, this program supports artistic and cultural activities by Indigenous applicants, including artists, knowledge keepers, Indigenous-led arts groups, and Indigenous-led organizations. The Community Impact Grant is an annual grant that supports community arts and cultural organizations in delivering impactful programming. The Looking Forward grant supports the exploration and implementation of significant organizational change to help Manitoba-based arts and cultural organizations prepare for the future and reach their goals. This grant has 2 grants within it. You can apply to explore an idea, or you can apply to implement an idea that you have. The Operate program invests in the ongoing activities of arts and cultural organizations, and funding through this program supports operating costs and the delivery of impactful arts and cultural programming and services. The Strengthen program supports projects aimed at strengthening arts and cultural organizations. And Prizes offers the Manitoba Arts Award of Distinction, which recognizes the outstanding accomplishments of a Manitoban artist, Indigenous knowledge keeper, or arts cultural professional through an annual prize. And this prize is $30,000. And I know for a fact that there are folks in this room who, when it comes to being a Manitoban artist who has an outstanding accomplishment, that they would be someone who would be nominated for this prize. The competitions program supports organizations that award impactful prizes to exceptional recipients in arts and culture. So lastly, I want to say that if you're interested in more information, please reach out to the Manitoba Arts Council. Our program consultants are here to help you with this process. They can meet with you in person, they can meet with you over the phone, they can meet with you online, they can come out to your community, and we can talk to you about all the different types of grants that you can apply for if you're eligible. We want to get to know you. Our doors are open. If you write an application, we will review a grant with you and give you some advice. And we also can connect with you in English or French. Thank you so much for your time.
I wonder whether I'm losing my hearing. I didn't hear the round of applause for that presentation. And I know we'll have time to interact with her, but I'm beginning to wonder, do you have a program that supports seniors? I didn't see that there because...
where are the seniors? I don't
we are here, and
everyone here is young.
I'm beginning to think maybe I need to look if I have a hidden artistic talent and can avail myself of those opportunities. So thank you very much for, and that's the beauty of face-to-face interactions. I'm sure that all she has shared with us will probably, and I'm sure, are on their website, but it's not the same thing than hearing it direct and live, and there's so much opportunity. So she has given us a blank check to approach her if we have any ideas. And I'm happy that it's not just about granting, they can help you even fine-tune your ideas. So even when you think your ideas might not be, you'll be surprised and they will work with you. And I want to assure her that once you make a promise here at Acomi, we will follow you up on that. So if there's anyone who tries to reach out to her and can get to me, and we will get her and her team. So once again, thank you for sharing this with us. We will have some time for interaction, and while that is going on, my team will share some snacks, because this is evening, for us to just settle down, and we still have a lot more happening this evening. Like I said, we have very strategic organizations here. We started with the Manitoba Arts Council, and you cannot talk about creativity without Creative Manitoba. So we have in our midst the Executive Director, Tom, who is here with us, and he's been there for more than 17 years. The good thing about him is that he's not just heading the organization, he is also someone who has been in the arts, he has walked the walk, and we are inviting him to talk the talk with us this evening. Tom, the Executive Director of Creative Manitoba.
Hello, I don't have a PowerPoint presentation, and I'm going to talk a little bit about Creative Manitoba, but I also want to ask for your indulgence and tell you a little bit of a story about myself and my experience in Winnipeg, which I think is different from some of yours. I'd like to thank you very much for inviting me here. I'm honored to be speaking at this gathering. And I want to also say that I'm honored that you've taken the time to listen to me. I know that you could invite other speakers and that you could do other things, and it's a sign of respect. I've been told when someone listens to you to offer respect back to the audience. So I'd like to do that, and I'd also like to say that I'm really interested in learning from the people in this room and developing an ongoing relationship. So I'd like to acknowledge again that we're on Treaty 1 territory, the homeland of the Red River Métis. My family came here over 150 years ago, and I know that there are many injustices that need to be recognized and addressed, and that work is ongoing. I'd also like to recognize that the water that we drink in Winnipeg is from Shoal Lake 30. And my father was a wastewater engineer, something of a worldwide expert in the treatment of sewage. He had a PhD, which he liked to say he was piled higher and deeper. But one of the things that he reinforced to me about water is that 75% of the water that comes into Winnipeg is flushed down our toilets. So I think that when we're drinking our water, we have to be very careful. We have to remember that water is a very precious commodity and think carefully about what you do with it. And I know you didn't invite me to come talk about water, but it's just something that when I get an opportunity to say something in public, I feel that I need to say that. Creative Manitoba is not a funder. We don't give out grants. We are what the government calls a workforce development agency. We provide training, we provide coaching, mentoring, programs like that, and I'll talk a little bit about it. Our mission is to strengthen, represent, and connect Manitoba's arts and creative communities. I have left some of these brochures around, and you can see what they are. Strengthen, we offer training programs, we offer business and career development for artists. So I like to say we don't teach a guitar player to play guitar, we teach a guitar player to earn a living from playing their guitar. So we teach you about how to do the marketing, how to do the financial management, how to do the business, how to do negotiations, those kinds of things. We offer an Indigenous program. We work with Indigenous artists to support them in their work, but we also provide training for non-Indigenous folks to learn and understand about Indigenous cultural teachings, and specifically the Indigenous communities that exist in Manitoba. We work with arts organizations, and we do human resource management development, cultural marketing, we do board governance, those kinds of things to help develop stronger organizations. And we do mentorship programs. We work with high school students to do career exploration in, we've done film, we've done music, we do crafts, literature, those sorts of things to help with high school students who are interested in understanding what a career in the arts might look like. And then we also work with established or artists who are coming out of post-secondary. Paparazzi here. So we work with emerging artists and match them with a senior artist for an 8-month period so that the emerging artists get an opportunity to understand what it is to have a career in the arts and make networks and connections, and a lot of times those mentorship relationships last far beyond the 8 months. I also do quite a lot of research into the arts, what is going on in the arts. We try to understand what the economic impact is, how many people work in the arts and what that looks like and where that is. And we do outreach. So I present at events like this. I work with chambers of commerce. I work with the provincial government to try to advocate for stronger programs and supports for artists and make people aware of the impact of the arts and what it does in the community. And connecting, we have an arts directory, and I would encourage you, if you have an arts practice, there's some of these postcards that I'll leave around. We have a directory where you can create a profile that has the ability to put photos, videos, images of your work, and a little bit of a bio, and be part of a directory of artists of Manitoba. On that same site, there's job boards, so if you're looking for creative jobs, that's where you'll find them. We have calls for submissions, so if there are opportunities for grants, or if somebody's doing a piece of public art and you want to be considered to make that art, that you can find out about those opportunities there, volunteer opportunities, community events, and we also have meeting spaces available in our facility at 245 McDermott. So that's kind of a little bit about who we are and what we do. We strive to have a minimum of 50% participation from diverse communities in our programs, but not just and in our leadership. So we work really hard to have across the board in our organization. And we have bursary programs to make finance should never be a barrier to participating in our program. So we have bursary programs that will sustain people. A lot of our programs are free or at low cost as well, and it's the provincial government. So I'll leave the Manitoba. If you want to find out more, feel free to call, email, come by and talk to us. Nigerian-born artist Mercedes Maduka on our staff, who's a brilliant artist, and experiences of an immigrant, because I don't. I was the 5th generation of Manitoba, of my family born in Manitoba. So I have a bit of a different experience, and I just want to talk a little bit about that because I want to bring it back to how this all looks. I'm a white settler, born within 50 miles of here, and is born in Winnipeg. This is where I'm from, and I'm drawn into the arts as a kid. I had a friend who was a brilliant visual artist, and I took pottery in comparison, but he always encouraged me to think of my. One of my great joys in life is to paint and to sit. I have a cabin out in eastern Manitoba, and I paint pictures of the outdoors, rocks and trees and clouds. But when I was in high school, I had friends who played in rock and roll bands, and that's where I really got into the arts. I managed bands, promoted shows, produced records. I ran an independent record label, and I worked in the music industry in Canada for decades. Later, I found myself at Creative Manitoba. Create and support artists. And it's a passion of mine because I believe art can change lives, art in healthcare, art. It's a fantastic thing, and it's really a powerful thing. And so, over the course of my lifetime, the demographics of Winnipeg have changed dramatically. When I was in high school, there was one individual of color in my grade. The rest of us were all white, Western European. And the times have changed from 1980, when 75% of the population was white Western European. That's now below 50% and is declining. The shift in demographics has not kept pace in our arts community. And a lot of our large arts organizations are institutions that are based in European art forms, ballet, opera, symphony, theater. And the audiences for these organizations are literally dying. My mom was a patron of all of those, and I'm not, my kids aren't, although my son works for the ballet, and he thinks the ballet is amazing, but the audiences are not keeping up, and the questions that are being asked by the leaders of these organizations is how do we change the narrative? How do we bring different cultural communities into our spaces, onto our staffs, onto our stages, and onto the walls of our buildings? And so that's a question that I'm here to ask, because when I sit in the rooms of of arts leadership, it's very little diversity. And it's like the question in my mind is how do we change that narrative? I know that newcomer artists, we've been working with a whole bunch of them. There's brilliant artists who live in Winnipeg now who have great stories. is, how can we work together to build bridges to bring cultural communities who now make Manitoba home together to share, to populate our stages, to use the cultural infrastructure that we have, to really, truly share with each other what we offer. And I think art is the mechanism to do that. And so one of the things that I hope is that in the near future, that when I'm sitting in a room of Manitoba arts leadership, and I look around the room and I see people from around the world who've made this place their home. And the same thing, if we do that in the arts, that we can then take that to the larger community and the business leaders and the community leaders. When you get a room full of people like that in Winnipeg, it doesn't look like it did 50 years ago. So I thank you for indulging me on this little thing, but I think when I talked to Chuck's and I said, can I talk about this? He said, yes, please do. The art establishment in Manitoba doesn't really know how to open their doors. So we need to have dialogue, we need to have conversation. We need to have a two-way discussion and figure out how this is going to work. Because we have a lot of great facilities and great institutions, but together we will be really a lot stronger. So, thank you.
Thank you, Tom. And once again, maybe I need to clean my ears. Can we please appreciate him with I think that sometimes when we talk about arts, we often forget that it's a range of different sectors. And I'm also glad that the last speaker mentioned storytelling and told us a little story. And culturally, from where we are all from, storytelling is part of African life, it's part of our history, it's part of our culture. The spoken word is what we use to engage, what we use to entertain, what we use to teach. A lot of us learn values through stories, and we should not lose that art. And that's why I'm highly honored to invite our next speaker. And she's also someone who typifies what we are talking about as part of this program. At the last event, we mentioned that talent is a gift, but you need to develop it. And it doesn't stop you from pursuing whatever career you want to pursue. And this person is almost a contradiction. She's talented, but she's also in a profession that is doesn't give too much room for creativity. She's a lawyer, she's a poet, she's a storyteller, she's an award winner, and I will not bore you with her numerous awards. Check her out. And I'm not a prophet, but I see a future Nobel Prize for Literature in this. Join me in welcoming Kim.
Hi, I'm so pleased and a little bit nervous to be here with you today. Thank you so much for the invitation. I'm really passionate about talking to young people about the arts, because I was a young person when I came into the arts, and it's changed and shaped my life in a way that I can't even fully express. Because it's my first language, I'm going to start with some poetry, and then talk a little bit about what my trajectory as an artist has looked like. So I published a book in 2024 called Scientific Marvel. And there are a number of poems in the book that are in response to art by Black artists. This poem is called Assemblage. It's after a painting that's actually now in the Winnipeg Art Gallery by a Nigerian artist named Acomi called Morning Assembly. This frame is a door, and the door is closed to you. You're misreading. Meanwhile, I make 12 cameos in any of our pictured dozen. Aspirants to gibberish, to dress yellows, to unsupervised limbs brown as good wood, to eyes peerless and gazed, aloof as a stone. Even now, as you watch or listen or tilt thinking, tap pencil to thinned lip, look, there I am, inside it, me and me again, there too. You outside, misreading the text of our face, bare as a burden. Our pause without capture, illegible, no documentary, explaining what is clear to who is meant to see through it. The sole threat of this assembly is that it extends unending into an everywhere to which you are not invited. Aspiration as in breath, so still I mean breathing. The sure, unbroken map of us, the flood of us, here and coming, gang, tautological, a better metaphor, your meaning empty as a throat. Our dozens, black, alive, indifferent, half asleep and sleeping, out of frame, beyond it, and watching back. This next poem is called Configuration, and it's about crows when they settle on telephone wires. Black commas, syncopating sky, corvids perched on midnight wire, neither omen or a knife, black and black-beaked and indifferent. Corvids perched on midnight wire, fat with analysis and circumstance, black and black-beaked and indifferent, haunting young and portage. Fat with analysis and circumstance and clean of all insistent meaning, haunting young and portage, where tide kicks swing inky. Clean of all insistent meaning, many nights are only nights, where tide kicks swing inky mark some other nothing. Many nights are only nights miscalled in terms of venery, mark some other nothing and its dark implications. Miscalled in terms of venery, and haunting tells it wrong, like dark does, and its dark implications. It's just, there they are. And haunting tells it wrong, like dark does. Black commas, syncopating sky. It's just, there they are. Never omen, never knife. This last poem is called Self-Portrait with track changes. Her first in a short life of passing from sight. The women gather in one house. I am a girl most when I bend to lather feet, keen, sounding like a drum, pulled taut and struck. Your open door, your tunnel. I smooth shadow from your face like light, thumb tears, pledge my allegiance to allegiance. A good daughter, like a healthy body, is defined by absence of disease. I was born on a Tuesday with one hand in a fist. I slid onto the earth on a cold afternoon. When I draw you, it's in ink. I call you some Sundays to tell you I'm fine. I rise in the dark, to turn the porch light back on, most of our symptoms briefly escape. Thank you. So it was a dream come true for me to write a book, and I've been overwhelmed by the reception to it, and very grateful for the life that the book has led outside of me. But the thing that I think it's important to emphasize is I don't think that I'm a special case. I think that everyone is born an artist. You have to choose to continue the creative life. And I think just as importantly, you need to have community that supports that choice. So I'm so grateful to Acomi to be putting on this event and forming that community to support artists. So my story of becoming an artist starts, when I was very young. I grew up, the happiest thing in the world for me. I grew up around really valued telling funny stories to each other, sitting together and singing together. And I really believe that that is where a lot of my love of literature comes from, is from written down, but that were shared and not taught. I came to Canada when I was 13 with my family. There was a poster up advertising a slam club. Slam is the competitive version of spoken word poetry. So it's judged like gymnastics. You get on a stage, you have 3 minutes to say a poem, and then at the end, 5 judges hold up cards for the whole room to see, giving you a number, rating your poem. It does not make any sense. That is not how poetry works, but it was a door that I walked through, that I ran through, a way to start writing poems and a way to meet other poets. That was so crucial to me, the community that I formed in high school of other young people like me who were interested in writing, who were curious about doing poetry. And we got together after school all the time, and we shared our poems, and we workshopped our poems. And in many ways, I think that's the experience that I continue to chase, is having a community of people who just care about poetry as much as I do, and sit with me. When I was 19, was that me? When I was 19, I had the great honor of being on a Winnipeg Poetry Slam team, and it was the first time, but not the last time, that I had the great privilege of getting to travel because of my art. I went to Victoria, BC, competed on a very unsuccessful spoken word team, but I was around so many artists for the first time in my life, and got to feel really what it felt like to be a poet. And being at that festival and meeting those artists meant that suddenly I had a network of artists across Canada. And throughout my undergraduate degree, with the support of organizations like Manitoba Arts Council and the Winnipeg Arts Council, I got to travel to various cities in Canada to perform poetry. I slept on a lot of people's couches, but for me, it was so worth it to get to feel like a poet, to be a poet, and to go into different rooms and share my writing with other people. I kept writing and publishing, volunteering, going to readings, workshopping. I did a lot of workshopping, actually, through Manitoba Arts Council's Artists in Schools program. I went into different high schools and taught workshops, and teaching poetry is one of the best ways, I think, that I learned how to write poems, how to think about poems, was sitting with young people who did not come to the poetry with preconceived notions about what a poem is or should be, and to gain so much perspective on different angles into poetry. And I did that throughout my undergraduate degree. I did that throughout my master's degree. I did it throughout law school. And it enriched my life in a way that I don't even know that I could, fully express. And I've been extremely fortunate. I've had amazing opportunity after amazing opportunity that build on each other. I volunteer at an open mic, and you meet someone at the open mic who can pay you $50 to do a reading somewhere. You read for that $50. That person invites you to another thing, and it builds and builds, and suddenly have a career in the arts. Some of the opportunities that have been sort of the most amazing for me, in addition to traveling across Canada, I was invited by Winnipeg's Writers' Festival to go to Scotland through a Canada Council grant when I was, would have been 22 or 23. There was no way I could have afforded to go to the UK by myself, but because of poetry, I was invited to go and read there. I've had a poem in a Lululemon commercial for the Olympics, which is incredible. And then some of the greatest honors of my life were previously being Winnipeg's Poet Laureate for 2023 and 2024, and currently I'm serving as Canada's Parliamentary Poet Laureate until the end of 2026. And as was mentioned, I'm also a practicing lawyer here in Winnipeg. I work at a large firm downtown doing mostly labor and employment law, and I feel very fortunate that I've been able to balance both sides of my brain, two passions that I was determined to pursue, and I think really that the ability to do both has enriched both for me and has made me more appreciative of both. That made me a poet is the sad I grew up with various educated friends and my peers looking through Audrey's slide of a number of Black poets I hope I've supported, and seeing just the amount of I've been supported by institutions. Council certainly, Creative Manitoba, I did a mentorship program in 2000.
They say that talented people, they also have one quality. They are usually very humble, and you can see that she tried as much as possible to downplay what she has achieved in this field. I'm not reading it from anywhere, and when I said we have a potential Nobel Prize laureate in the house, she's already won already. She's already on that track. I'm aware that she's the Winnipeg 2023 Poetry Laureate. She's currently the 2025-26 Canadian Parliamentary Poetry Laureate. So please let's thank her. Talent is sometimes just quiet and hidden. But from the three presentations, you can see the opportunities that the creative arts provides. Opportunity to travel, opportunity to develop your skills, opportunity for you to be a leader, because that's what arts prepares you for. Every artist is a leader because those skills are really necessary. And so we are glad this evening to have these three wonderful speakers who have opened doors for us. They have also made a pledge to always be with the community, so we are going to hold on to them, and we are going to see more of you. And so once again, thank you, Ndi, for joining us this evening. Enough of talk. Next artist is a visual artist whose creativity and I'm sure we have some mentors who are experts in the use of oil and painting. And so we have in our house this evening a young man, promising young man, Andrew Idemudia, who is exhibiting some of his work there. So he's creative, he's humble, and he's shy. So we will not hear from him, but he's ready over there to explain those wonderful artworks that he has. So can we support him with a round of applause? So we will encourage everyone to visit the stand. And this is one of the things we want to encourage. We are going to be giving platforms for our young artists to exhibit the work that they are doing. So if you have a film you're making and you want to show it and premiere it, we did one last time at Norwood Hotel. Michael, who had a wonderful film on the plight of newcomers, we are hoping to have him again do so. So if you have a talent, you have something you've done, you have something, a hidden talent, you want to showcase it, you're a musician, you're a dancer, this project is going to provide you the platform to do so. And that's why today, our artist of the day is Andrew Idemudia. And once again, we thank you for coming. All work and no play. I'm sure a lot of us have been came here from work. We will be serving dinner shortly. But while we are doing that, like I said, we are deliberate in the people we invited to this forum. We have young people, a young poet, a young time. And it's also something for us as young people to note. The first time I heard about them, Winnipeg Steel Orchestra, I didn't pay attention. I said, oh, okay, orchestra. This, you know what, an orchestra, it didn't occur to me that it's also part of our culture. And I know that part of what, I wouldn't call them oppressors and those who wanted to kill our culture, they tried to stop us from playing music. Because we play music, we sing even when we are cooking. We dance in the farm. It's part of the African culture. And they try to take that away from us. Drumming is also part of our culture, and that's how we communicate. They try to ban it, but our people are very creative. Even with the aluminum plates they gave them to eat, they started making music with it. When they seized the aluminum plate and they gave them hoes and cutlasses to work in the farm, they used it to beat. And this is an original African black invention, the steel orchestra. And we have the maestro in the house. Like I said, someone who's been playing this and been a member of this band since 1974, if I'm not, yeah. I don't know how many people were born in 1974, but they have consistently played this band. So it's my honor to invite them to give us a little of what they have developed over 4 decades. And we are glad to have you in the house. Ruben and Agnes, it's your turn. While we serve.
can get the two of them. Moy, change to the website.
I know him.
To give us the closing remarks and Some of us knew only a few things, which is that in the email that we received, we saw Acomi we belong, and we saw something that talked about equity and inclusivity. I think that's the much that many of us knew. We didn't know what to expect. So when I came in and sat down, and I was privileged to sit next to persons that found it later turned out to be the ones that had all the ideas, we're not sure what it was all going to be like this evening. But I think when many of us who have been here for the last 1 hour, close to 2 hours, when we think about what we have heard today, that know of an African who has won a Nobel in the sciences. So that probably means that the arts is natural with us. I also know an individual here who has an Order of Canada. It's also in the arts. So I think the arts is a very good place to start. That thing that is natural with us, we should hold on to it. Many of us had to study sciences. I studied engineering, but I find that the arts is natural with me. So they are an opportunity that we should not leave behind. So I want to thank, starting with the youngest people in the group, and that's those who have given us music. I had to go there especially to go and see what they were doing. I just want to get their name, Ruben and Agnes, if I'm correct. Wow, I think you stole the show today. When I came in, the music that was playing really made me sit down and just listen. And then again, the first time I got up was again to go and stand there and really got a close look at the instruments they were playing. Please give them another round of applause. Thank you so much, Ruben and Agnes. Then I must go back to where I should start, which is with Audrey. Audrey told us about the priority groups, the fact that we are priorities. Isn't that nice to hear? That the people in this room, because we are black, and because some of us are people of, described as people of color, or whatever disadvantages you have, that makes us priority. And so, Audrey, being the director for granting, we couldn't be more privileged to meet her. So I sat next to her, and I thought, wow, everyone here, we know that money is the thing that makes the world go round. So if you have an opportunity to connect with a person that can give you the support you need to get your thing going, I think everyone should be running around trying to meet with Audrey. So Audrey, they haven't found you. I'm sure they will all want to meet with you. So thank you so much, Audrey, for being here tonight and for telling us how privileged we are in terms of our need. And then, of course, there is Tom Sparling, Executive Director, Creative Manitoba. Tom did say that he was used to sitting in the midst of a lot of people of the Caucasian group. But Tom, I'm sure tonight, sitting, you probably have a different tale tonight, that you're sitting among so many people who are different than what you used to, what you used to see in the past. So the story is going to change. Please, Tom, stay close to us, and you will see more of the Madukas. You have a Maduka with you now, and I can tell you that your concern is well taken. Tom told us that there's so much opportunity, and they're just looking for a way to connect us to themselves. So that's Creative Manitoba. Please, let's take note. Let's check them out on the website. Tom, thank you for sharing your time with us. Thank you for connecting with us. Of course, I won't forget Chiwewe. I think she has already stepped out, but Chiwewe is so great to know. We can't wait to see that award, that final award, something to do with the Nobel, come to her. Again, we learned that she's a lawyer cum poet. So that's so great. There's so much you can do. You know, as Africans, they tell us you must read law, medicine, engineering, any of those things. And then you read them. At the end of the day, you leave the one that is natural with you. So she's connected with what is natural with her, and that's the one that has taken her places. So I encourage us not to drop the talents that we have, so that like Chiwewe, we can go places. And I will not forget to thank although I haven't had a chance to chat with him, that's Idemudia, the artist, the visual artist that has given us some of the arts that we are very used to. When I was in high school, back in Nigeria, I went to a school, and when they introduced the arts, maybe that's why I was discouraged, because I just didn't know how to hold the pen and use it to come up with anything this creative. But it remained a marvel to me. And so when I see people who are creative in this way, I'm very excited. So Idemudia, you are somebody special, that you can create stuff like this. And we believe that you go places. And again, this is something we all can also key into, the younger ones among us. And I have to also thank all of you, okay, those of us who found the time to come tonight. Whether you, some of us met someone there, he's only been here 2 years.
and yet he's had this opportunity to connect to so many people here. So if you have come here today, I'm sure you will not go empty-handed. So please make sure you move around. If you haven't met 5 people, just like we were told, please make sure you meet that target for tonight. I won't forget to thank my colleagues, the Acomi team. You really are the ones that have made it to happen. Our former president, Titi, and the husband, and the rest of us that are here. Thank you so much for the opportunity of putting this together, bringing everyone together. And then don't forget the next event, I believe is December 5th at the Winnipeg Gallery, and more to come in the future. Thank you.
Like they said, you have to thank the tanker, right? So we thank Dr. Chibo. And also I want to acknowledge and thank our funders, because without them we will not be here today. So the Canadian Heritage of Government of Canada who supported, we acknowledge their support. And please, can we give them a round of applause? When these programs happen, you see us, you see the speakers, but we are not the ones that make this happen. It's our team of wonderful volunteers. Most of them students who use their time, their money, their resources to come. I think that the success of today's event can be attributed to the support of our volunteers. So wherever you are, I thank all the volunteers. Can we give them a round of applause for volunteering? They have been consistent, and so we thank all of you for being here. So we are not officially closing the door. Music continues, the networking continues, and we hope to see you at our next events. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Thank you for joining. Hello. So please, I know we're networking, so for those of you who missed their dinner served at their table, please, we can go pick your dinner at the back stand, please. There's still food left. Thank you very much. And those of you who have not taken pictures in our photo booth, please let's go there and be captured. Audrey, have we gotten your pictures there yet?
Yes.
Okay, good.
This was wonderful.
recording again. Yeah, it's not recording. Okay, so my first time yeah, sharp man. Yeah, sharp man. Yeah, sharp man. Short one. It's not recorded. You don't see what the camera sees.